Hello and how are you? In this short video, I am going to give a brief explanation about the concept of inflation, and I am simply going to define the concept, and I will also talk about the types of inflation. In the upcoming video, I will explain about the causes of inflation and the measures to control inflation in an economy. So, to be brief, inflation is simply defined as the persistent increase in the general price levels, the persistent increase in the price of goods and services, or it can be also defined as the persistent fall in the value of money. And the inflation rate for Tanzania is normally reported by the National Bureau of Statistics or the Bank of Tanzania. So if you are to get the data for inflation rates, you simply visit the National Bureau of Statistics, or you can as well visit the website for the Bank of Tanzania to be able to understand the inflation rate and to understand how it is calculated, especially using the consumer price index. For example, the inflation rate for the year ending April 2021 was 3.3%. Therefore, to understand how it is calculated and how it is obtained, you simply go to the website and you can simply get the formulas and the procedures. But in a nutshell, when the National Bureau of Statistics is calculating the inflation rate, they normally consider the price for different goods and services, the consumer goods and non-consumer goods, non-foodstuffs, which are included in the basket of goods and services. So they use that one to calculate inflation using the consumer price index for the current year and the consumer price index for the base year or the previous year. So that's the simple definition of inflation. The types of inflation can be classified according to the degree of intensity or according to the rate, and it can also be classified according to the causes. So when we classify inflation according to the degree of intensity, we have about 3 types of inflation. First of all, we have the creeping or moderate or mild inflation. This type of inflation is not harmful to the economy, as it may even lead to economic growth, and it is the inflation with the low levels of unemployment. So this type of inflation does not have any. It has some few effects to the economy, but the effects are not that high to hinder economic growth. And the rate of this type of inflation is from 2% to 5%. So if you find the inflation rate ranging from 2 to 5%, that inflation rate is called mild, creeping, or moderate inflation. For example, as I said, the inflation rate for the year ending April 2021 was 3.3. That inflation rate is within the range of moderate, creeping, or mild inflation. And as you can witness in the Tanzanian economy, we are witnessing some economic growth. So the inflation rates we are experiencing currently does not have more side effects compared to the hyperinflation or compared to the rapid inflation. So the second type of inflation, according to the degree of intensity, is the rapid inflation. So this kind of inflation is a bit harmful to the economy. It is harmful to the economy as it may lead to the fear of hyperinflation, which is more harmful to the economy. Therefore, the rate of inflation and rapid inflation is ranging from 5% to 20%. So from 5, 6 to 20%, that is the rapid inflation. And that type of inflation is very harmful to the economy because there is fear of hyperinflation, which may lead to the collapse of the economy. And the last type of inflation under the inflation according to the degree of intensity is the hyperinflation. As I said, hyperinflation is more harm to the economy. It has more side effects, negative effects to the economy, because the economy may even stagnate due to that kind of inflation. The prices are very high and the value of money is very low. You find that you use a lot of money to buy few items. So you go to the market with with much money, but you end up buying few items. And the example, it happened in Germany, but it also happened in Zimbabwe previously, where the currency lost its value. So that is the type of inflation according to the degree of intensity, where I have discussed the creeping, moderate, or mid inflation, the rapid inflation, and the hyperinflation. You can also classify inflation according to the cause, and of course this is Keynesian economics. Keynesian is the one who gave this type of inflation. He classified the inflation according to the cause, and of course we have two. We have the demand pull and the cost push. Demand pull and cost push. The demand pull inflation is the type of inflation which is caused by an increase in aggregate demand, which is higher than aggregate supply. So when there is a higher aggregate demand to the economy than aggregate supply, automatically that leads to inflation. When there is high demand for the goods and the services, that leads to inflation, because there is high demand, but the supply of goods and services to the economy are very low. And of course, what may lead to increase in aggregate demand may be due to increase in public spending, maybe increase in private spending, etc., etc. Those type of expenditures may lead to increase in aggregate demand, where people have high purchasing power, but the goods and services are very few in the market. So you find that aggregate demand is higher than aggregate supply, which leads to inflation rate. But also there is a cost push inflation. Cost push is caused by an increase in the cost of production as workers demand for more wages. So when there is an increase in wages, automatically the purchasing power of workers, of the general public, will increase. And if it increases, we expect suppliers also to increase the price for the goods, because there is increase in wages. So an increase in wages will lead to an increase in the price of goods and services, which will result to inflation. That is why the government normally states to increase wages, because it has some implications to the economy. So cost push inflation is the inflation which occurs as a result of an increase in cost of production, which is caused by workers demanding for more wages. Therefore, in a nutshell, those are the types of inflation and the explanation relating to the definition of inflation. My name is Vicent Stanslaus. I am working with the Open University of Tanzania as the assistant lecturer. Thank you for watching and have a good time.